Ladies and gentlemen, Nikki Haley will drop out. DeSantis will drop out. They are no match for Trump. The reason is because they are more militant in some respects, whether it's DeSantis, especially Haley, definitely Chris Christie. They're more militant in terms of foreign policy. They're more hawkish. And there are articles, like, for example, Newsweek has an article published. Oh, don't let the isolationists convince you that Haley is a neoconservative. It's not about funding allies. We funded a country in Europe for over a year now. Okay? I want the country I had my bar mitzvah in funded during its turmoil. We fund countries throughout that region of the world. No one says a thing. It's not about funding allies in terms of weaponry or arms. It's about sending Americans to never-ending military conflict and counterinsurgency quagmires. I am against this. Trump is against this. Vivek Ramaswamy is against this. RFK Jr. is against this. Tulsi Gabbard is against this. Okay? It's very simple. The moral choice is Trump. It is immoral to send Americans to never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. Haley would do so if intelligence told her to do so. Only Trump pushes back against media and the wonderful, highly educated intelligence community. Only Trump pushes back against forces that would influence any American president. The logical, just, moral, and rational choice is Donald Trump. You might not like his personality, but I don't think Biden has the most wonderful personality in the world. We had record low poverty as well and record highs in household median income. Under Trump, he was a great president. Now, Haley has no chance against Trump. DeSantis has no chance against Trump. Nobody does, because it was Donald Trump who defeated Clinton in 2016, and it was Donald Trump who turned the Supreme Court conservative. No other. You can't say that Haley would have achieved record low poverty and record highs in household median income, not starting a foreign conflict under Trump. No foreign conflicts under Trump in terms of quagmires and long-term military interventions. He's not a pacifist, but he's not Chris Christie or Nikki Haley. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. I don't care about a person's personality. I like Trump's personality for the most part, actually. He's a lot funnier during his speeches than Jimmy Kimmel every night, or Stephen Colbert, or Seth Meyers, or John Oliver. I mean, these are comedians who every waking moment try to tear down Trump, and they would do the same thing with Nikki Haley. New York Times, Washington Post, MSNBC, CNN, The Atlantic, New Yorker, New York Magazine, Vanity Fair, Esquire, Mother Jones, The Nation, Daily Beast, Jimmy Kimmel, all of late night social media algorithms, Intel, former current anonymous Intel officials. If these people set their sights against Chris Christie or Haley or DeSantis, they would be no match. The Democratic Party would steamroll any alternative to Trump. You're living in a fantasy world if you think that Nikki Haley has any chance to defeat a Democrat in any presidential contest. Hit subscribe to this channel right now to read my writing on the Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, the Jerusalem Post, the Federalist, other publications. Go to hagoodman.com. Ladies and gentlemen, NPR quoted me in 2015, correctly stating that Clinton would lose to Trump. And the article was, oh, well, sometimes people make wrong predictions or outlandish predictions. And it's like, no, I was right. And I'm telling you, it doesn't take Nostradamus to tell you that Trump's going to be the nominee. He'll be convicted probably 3 times. He won't be in Florida. But none of these convictions, the indictments read as if they were written by a Democratic operative or staffer. One of the staffers, interestingly enough, of the Maryland Democrat was fired for filming himself and another person having, let's say, a romantic relationship in the Senate hearing room. But, ladies and gentlemen, my Patreon is below. Segue to the Patreon after that story. and in the pinned comment, and the super thanks is below next to the like and the share buttons. We'll have live streams a lot starting January. We'll get back to, if you've been here for years, I'm a pretty hardworking person, and the past 3, 4, 5 months or so, a lot of great things, thank God, have been taking place for me. And now it's time to just focus on my YouTube channel, getting into 300,000 subscribers. For people who have been here since 2015, 2016, and beyond, or just recent people who hit subscribe, thank you. I love you. Thank you. To the members on this channel, become a member. Thank you so very, very much. I definitely try to heart every message of every member all the time. And if I don't, just understand how thankful I am. But Nikki Haley will drop out. They will all back Trump. And eventually, I mean, you can see New Hampshire. I don't think that Nikki Haley, they say, oh, she's gaining on Trump. 29%, it's probably the best that could happen. And I can tell you right now, there's more than 5% for Ramaswamy, and Christie likely doesn't have 10%. But DeSantis at 11% is kind of hilarious. Okay? So you have Trump, and everything they're doing to Donald Trump is a smokescreen. He did not try to foment, nor did he try to steal 2020. He went through the courts. Like, for example, when Bill Maher says that he tried to steal and do these fake this and that, none of that is true. The indictments accuse him of these things, but the indictments were written years after these alleged heinous crimes. The reason is that they needed to interfere in 24, so they found 3 or 4 different ways to indict him. Trump was not in any way, shape, or form able to overturn 2020. There was no chance at all. He went through the courts. He had media firmly against him. Not one Democrat, including Bill Maher or anyone else, was ever for a second scared or frightened or petrified that Trump could reverse Biden's victory. He tried through the courts and he failed, and he was the butt of jokes for doing so. Comedians made fun of every court loss. They were euphoric. They're not euphoric now. Apparently, Mashed Potato Brains was the most popular president of all time, and now he's being replaced, likely by Hillary Clinton. But, if it's Newsom, whatever, I think it'll be Hillary Clinton. But, they're going to replace Biden eventually. And the reason is because he's been a catastrophe of a president. And this is, by the way, the most popular president of all time. So Trump had legitimate grievances. He had a right to air his grievances through a court of law, through his attorneys. And they've now tried to criminalize Trump's inability to accept that Democrats play fair, which they never do. And so there were never true investigations. Nobody was sent to Congress. Nobody was forced to testify to Senate committees or congressional committees. Nobody was forced to testify, really, to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, anything that would have led to some kind of substantive outcome or conclusion. They were quick, haphazard, investigations done at the state level by people who would suffer the most if foul play were discovered. I'm trying to speak algorithmically friendly. So Trump had every right to go through the courts and contest a defeat he thought was unfair. That is different, completely different from accusing somebody of being an operative of the Kremlin, which is what Democrats did. The biggest deniers are Democrats after 2016. They wrote books. What happened? Then you have New York going after Trump. These are all Democratic politicians going after Trump. And they said, oh, well, hush money payment. But the FEC fined Clinton, not and the DNC, not Trump, for the Steele dossier. Then they say, oh, in D.C., his speech fomented. His speech didn't foment anything. He said peacefully. He meant fight peacefully through politics. Peaceful, like normal politics. not any chaos or mayhem. And by the way, nobody was armed that day. If it was a left-leaning, God forbid, there wouldn't be a building if it was left-leaning individuals that day. And media wouldn't care. CNN literally stated something like fiery but peaceful as a building was set ablaze behind the reporter. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Trump will easily defeat Haley and everybody else. She'll drop out eventually soon. And Trump will regain the Oval Office. And we're seeing really something that people will look at years and years down the line and say, well, Trump was a pretty amazing historical individual in history. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe. Thank you.